The biochemicals dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins have a significant impact on both our physical and mental health. Being low in any of these hormones can have a massively detrimental effect, and yet they're rarely discussed. Luckily, there are some really easy ways to hack our happy hormones. In this video, I'm discussing the 4 different hormones, what they're responsible for, the symptoms of low levels, really important, and how to boost them safely to feel happier and healthier. I'm Jo Banks. I've been a professional executive business coach for 15 years, and I'm sharing what I know. Overview. When we undertake certain activities, we release specific combinations of neurochemicals. All of these chemicals have a purpose, as well as the ones that we emit when we're stressed, cortisol and adrenaline, triggering our fight, flight, freeze stress response that I've talked about in so many of my videos. We also release hormones in reaction to positive experiences. Once you're aware of your happy hormones, what each one is responsible for and how to activate them, you can choose to undertake activities that force their release, thereby enhancing both your physical and mental well-being and effectively combating stress, anxiety, lethargy, and low mood. Building the right activities into your daily routine will help you feel good from the inside out. Happiness is an inside job. It does not come from anything external. It's something that we can get easily within ourselves by hacking our neurochemicals. Incidentally, before I continue, I have a mini course fact sheet on this topic, which you can get for free at my website, jobanks.net/happy hormones guide. I'll leave the link below. Thousands of people have downloaded it and said that they found it really super useful. What are biochemicals? The 4 principal happy hormones are dopamine, often referred to as the reward chemical, oxytocin, the love hormone, serotonin, the mood stabiliser, and endorphins, the painkiller. Most people have little awareness of how critical our biochemicals are to our well-being. Learning more about them and integrating really simple daily activities into our routines can significantly affect our overall physical and mental health. So let's start first with dopamine, the reward chemical. What is dopamine? Again, dopamine is often referred to as the reward chemical as it gets released in response to achieving or accomplishing our goals, large or small. And we even get a release when we feel that we're on the right track towards the attainment of our goals. Dopamine is closely connected to motivation levels. So if you feel highly motivated, it's likely that your dopamine levels are good. If you're feeling unmotivated, they're likely very low. You can get a hit of dopamine, that's how you hear it referred to quite often, from lots of different sources. However, not all sources are beneficial. Some can be incredibly harmful and can cause addictions. Therefore, it's vital to understand how to access this critical hormone without potentially causing long-lasting damage. Baseline dopamine levels. We all have a baseline dopamine level that varies from person to person. However, it can increase significantly depending on both our behaviours and what we eat. For example, eating chocolate increases our baseline by 1.5. Sex doubles our baseline. Smoking increases our baseline by 2.5. Cocaine increases our baseline by 2.5, and amphetamines increase our baseline by 10. Our bodies can quickly become accustomed to spikes in dopamine levels and begin to crave the high that they produce. Over time, our baseline adjusts, making it harder to achieve the same high as we had at the start. This can be a relatively short period depending on the activity triggering the dopamine. Symptoms of low dopamine: muscle cramps, spasms or tremors, aches and pains, stiffness in the muscles, loss of balance, constipation, difficulty eating and swallowing, weight loss or weight gain, frequent pneumonia, trouble sleeping, disturbed sleep, low energy and inability to focus, moving or speaking more slowly than usual, feeling fatigued, feeling demotivated, feeling inexplicably sad or tearful, mood swings, hopelessness, low self-esteem, guilt-ridden, anxiety, low sex drive, lack of insight or self-awareness. With that long list of symptoms, it's really important that we learn how to safely access dopamine. How to safely access dopamine. As I've already discussed, there are many potential negative activities we can undertake that trigger a dopamine hit. However, there are also many positive things that we can do to elicit a better quality and longer lasting release. Some of those include celebrating wins, large or small, rewarding ourselves after completing a task, especially one we weren't looking forward to doing, undertaking self-care activities such as meditation, massage, warm bubble bath, pampering, reading a favourite book. Ticking things off a list is a big one. I'm guilty of this one, and I know lots of clients love it too when they get that feeling of elation when they tick things off a list. Some have it so much that they'll add things to a list that they've already completed just so that they can experience the high of ticking it off. That's dopamine. Eating good, satisfying, wholesome food, completing a challenging exercise workout, going for a long walk in nature, playing with children or pets, cooking a wonderful meal, receiving validation and good feedback from others, getting creative, painting, drawing, needlework, DIY, working on our hobbies, or finding solutions to problems. The more complex, the better. The list is endless. Using dopamine to boost your motivation. The other important point to note is that we are reward-based creatures. From an early age, we get conditioned for reward. Remember as a child when your parent might have said, tidy your room, you can have a treat. Eat your dinner, you can have dessert. Do your homework and you can go and play. You can use this childhood conditioning to your advantage. For example, if you're struggling to get motivated, plan a reward afterwards. Choose your reward carefully though and avoid potentially harmful sources of dopamine, such as social media scrolling, chocolate, high calorie, high fat food. If you reward yourself after completing something, you'll get a double whammy dopamine hit. One from completing the task and one from the prize you give yourself afterwards. Oxytocin, the love hormone. What is oxytocin? Oxytocin acts as a chemical messenger in the brain and plays an integral part in human behaviours, including sexual arousal, recognition, trust, anxiety, and mother-infant bonding. It can be traced back to our earliest ancestors when being separated from the tribe meant certain death. We simply could not survive on our own, out in the open, without the protection of the wider group. Therefore, having close bonds was critical to ensuring our survival. That's where oxytocin comes in. When we're around other people, especially in close proximity, it gives us a feeling of safety, belonging, and calmness due to the oxytocin release. That's one of the reasons why even today we love bonding around a campfire, barbecue, and telling stories or even gossiping. That behaviour again can be traced right back to our earliest ancestors. We also get a release of oxytocin when we're in large crowds, especially when there's a shared goal. For example, sports matches, a movie or a theatre. Again, this is because our need for oxytocin gained through contact with others is deeply ingrained in our DNA as a primary survival mechanism. Anyone experiencing prolonged periods alone will likely be low in oxytocin. So, for example, during lockdown, if you were living and working on your own and don't own a pet, we do get oxytocin from playing with and stroking pets, and spending little or no time with others, then undoubtedly oxytocin levels will be low. Furthermore, solitary confinement is widely used across the globe as a punishment tool for prison inmates when they break the rules. As humans, we are not designed to be alone for long stretches. Prolonged isolation adversely affects both our physical and our mental health in really quite profound ways. Two of the most common symptoms of lack of oxytocin that I see in clients who live and work alone are unexpected aches and pains that do not go away, or physical symptoms that take much longer to heal than they should. The other is unexplainable low mood, anxiety, depression, and general lethargy, where there is no discernible underlying reason, i.e. there's nothing particularly going wrong in their lives. Of course, you must always seek medical advice if you experience these symptoms. However, if there is no underlying cause and you're not spending time with other people, you're kind of self-isolating, you very well could be low on oxytocin. Symptoms of low oxytocin levels: poor communication, irritability and agitation, inability to feel affectionate, more anxieties and fears than normal, sexual interactions are more mechanical, increased appetite for sugar-rich and fatty foods, feeling little joy from life, disturbed sleep, muscle ache, prolonged healing, low mood, lethargy, inability to motivate yourself, stress and anxiety, despair, loneliness, aches and pains that can't be explained, low appetite, sadness, low mood. Big long list on this one. How to safely access oxytocin. Activities that will trigger this important hormone include hugging. If you can hug somebody for 15 seconds or more, the effects get heightened. Even more so if you hug somebody when you're both naked. Prolonged physical touching, for example, holding hands or massage. Exercising, especially with others. Going to sports matches, movies, theatre events, anywhere there are large groups of people, especially if you all have a common goal, for example, football. Playing with a baby or children, playing with a pet, laughing with others, sharing experiences. Storytelling is one of the main reasons why we love gossip. Holistic treatments such as massage, Reiki, physiotherapy. Giving a compliment to somebody else, especially face to face. Next, let's look at serotonin, the mood stabiliser. What is serotonin? Serotonin is responsible for several internal processes, including sleep, regulating appetite, promoting learning and memory, increasing positive feelings and emotions, and overall mood stability. Serotonin gets activated when daylight hits the back of our eyes when we're outside, and this must be direct exposure. I don't mean through a window. Unfortunately, many of us do not get enough daylight to trigger this critical hormone, which will significantly impact our circadian rhythm, our sleep-wake cycle. So if you rarely spend time outside during daylight hours, you'll likely not be activating this hormone, which is going to negatively impact on your sleep. People who work shifts are particularly prone to serotonin deficiency and disturbed sleep for this reason. As well as physical symptoms, a lack of serotonin is associated with several psychological symptoms, such as S.A.D, seasonal affective disorder, which many people struggle with during the winter months, largely because of the decreased daylight hours and not getting outside to get some daylight. Therefore, it's essential to build activities that boost this vital hormone into your daily routine. Symptoms of low serotonin: low mood, aggression, stress, low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, sleep issues, not being able to fall asleep, waking up in the middle of the night, insomnia, chronic pain, appetite issues, hyperactivity, difficulty concentrating, memory and learning issues, craving, high sugar, high fat carbs, impulsive behavior, and poor memory. How to safely access serotonin. If you recognize that you may be low in this hormone, you can hack it through exercise, meditation, massage and holistic therapies, Reiki and physiotherapy, daylight exposure, and you don't have to be able to see the sun. Just 15 minutes outside is clinically proven to ease symptoms significantly, especially if you go outdoors within an hour of waking, and again for a further 10 or 15 minutes late on in the afternoon when the sun is starting to set. Huge proven clinical benefits for doing that practice. Walking, running, cycling outdoors, especially in nature. Eating wholesome, unprocessed natural foods, for example, whole wheat, oatmeal, brown rice and brown pasta, oily fish, fruit and nuts. Visualization is another brilliant tool, vividly remembering happy times or creating a positive mental view of how you want your life to be. Practicing gratitude. Again, there's tons of positive research on practicing gratitude. It lights up specific parts in your brain. Far from the new age woo-woo nonsense, it is clinically proven that recalling times when you have received appreciation from others positively affects our brain functioning. Endorphins, the painkiller. What are endorphins? Endorphins are neurotransmitters responsible for making you feel happy. They minimize discomfort and pain and maximize pleasure. Recent studies suggest that they play an essential role in reducing stress, anxiety, and depression, and are critical to our overall well-being. Since humans naturally seek pleasure and avoid pain, we're more likely to do an activity if it makes us feel good. In addition, our brains were explicitly designed for one single goal: to keep us alive long enough to procreate. So, from an evolutionary standpoint, moving away from pain and towards pleasure helps ensure our survival. We use the term runner's high in reference to the euphoria people feel after strenuous exercise. The elated mood can be primarily attributed to the massive endorphin release we experience when we exercise. We get the same high when we laugh out loud, especially when we're with others. We also release endorphins when we get injured. It's our natural painkiller. Symptoms of low endorphin levels: muscle stiffness, fatigue, low energy, sleep problems, aches and pains, prolonged recovery time after illness, prolonged recovery time after exercise, mood swings, anxiety, depression, weight issues, impulsive behaviors, headaches, low self-esteem. How to safely boost endorphin levels. You can hack your endorphins through exercising, especially with others, laughing out loud, especially with others, watching comedy programs or movies, watching live comedy, massage and holistic therapies, Reiki, physiotherapy, acupuncture, chiropractic care. Incidentally, when you have that pop, when you go and see the chiropractor, that's a massive release of endorphins that makes you feel good. Eating wholesome, unprocessed foods: whole wheat, oatmeal, brown rice, pasta, oily fish, fruit and nuts. Eating dark chocolate and drinking red wine in moderation. Dancing and singing, even if you're no good at it. I love a good kitchen disco when I'm doing my batch cooking at the weekend. Listening to uplifting music, helping others, undertaking creative activities. The wrap up. As our biochemicals are so critical to our physical and mental health, it's vital to weave activities into your daily routine that will safely activate their release. I recommend choosing at least one thing you can do each day to stimulate each of the 4 happy biochemicals. Give some thought to any obstacles that might stop you from following through and how you'll overcome them. That's one of the fundamental keys to habit formation. Again, if you'd like more information on this topic, I have that free PDF-based mini course, which includes an A4 poster of the 4 biochemicals and how you can hack them. You can print that off, leave it around the house to remind yourself. The link will be below. Managing our biochemicals is fundamental to managing our physical and mental health. As you've seen, hacking our happy hormones is relatively easy, but the effects of not managing them can be devastating. As I say in most of my videos, awareness is everything because we can't change what we aren't aware of. What next? If you have any other ingenious ways of hacking happy hormones, please leave them in the comments section below. I'd love to hear about them, and I'm sure other subscribers and viewers would too. If you found this video useful, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. You may be aware that I'm currently trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can start doing live streaming. So again, further reason to hit that subscribe and notification bell. Finally, as always, a huge thank you to everybody who stays until the very end. And thank you so much for your support. It really does mean the world to me.